Yes, I'm leaving North Texas Ghost Society.
So as you've seen from the title of the video and from the introduction, Syn-D is not going to be with North Texas Ghost Society anymore. And I guess let's talk about why.
We could do that, for sure.
And so, you've been on the team now for 9 years, almost 10 years now. And you're going to be leaving the team. And I guess a lot of people are going to wonder, are you sick of the paranormal? Are
No.
you sick of me?
A little.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So why don't you just tell us what's going on and why you're leaving?
So, I am engaged and I will be moving to the Northeast. So,
Northeast.
Yep. I met a young man 28 years ago and we reconnected and still have a connection.
He was what, 3 years old at the time? You
He-
waited for him to grow up?
We're almost the exact same age. I'm a little older. I'm a cougar by 3.5 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cougar.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I'll be moving soon.
I got to say that, and, we talked a little bit before we started this video, and your better half is here with you. But in 10 years, which is kind of amazing because North Texas Ghost Society was kind of like created like 13, 14 years ago. So the majority of that time you've been with the team.
Right.
And there's been other team members like at the beginning, and then right after that there was a couple, and then it's been you, and it's been one of those experiences, and I say this with utmost respect to you. As sad as I am that you're leaving, as upset that I am that you're leaving, because this has been kind of a venture between you and I. I mean,
Yeah.
I always thought that it would be like more people on a team, 4, 5, 6 people, or at least 3 or 4. And it's just turned out so good, just the two of us.
Yeah.
But as much as I'm upset that you're leaving, also, on the other hand, I'm very, very happy for you, because if anybody deserves love and happiness and a great future, it's you.
Thank you.
Well, after me, but
Right, yeah.
it's you.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit. So, it's since COVID, things have slowed down so much for us.
Yeah.
Being able to go out and go investigate, and then with your job, and you're still doing the same job, but the hours kind of flipped around a little bit.
Yeah.
And of course, with me, married, kid, all that, like we talked about sports. And
Yeah.
It's been more difficult, but I want to go over a couple of things that, I want to hear your perspective on some stuff. So I got some questions laid out,
Okay.
and just talk about them as you want. So what are your fondest memories of being with North Texas Ghost Society?
So, I guess my best memory is probably the first investigation where we drove for 15 hours to Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. That was my first that was only my second investigation period. The first one was the guest investigation here locally. And the whole time I was there, the hair on the back of my neck stood up. Because when you're investigating, all of your senses are on overdrive. You're trying to listen, you're trying to hear, you're trying to see, you're trying to feel. And the whole time I was there, I kept thinking, man, I really want to see that shadow figure. But at the same time, if I see that shadow figure, I'm probably going to pee myself. But I would really want to see that shadow. And we didn't. We heard disembodied voices while we were there, and other stuff. And we didn't see, or you didn't see it, but I saw the shadow figure when we were leaving. Everything was packed up, none of the cameras were out, and that's when I saw the shadow figure. And after that first shadow figure, then when we went immediately to Ripa Villa, I saw that second shadow figure of the little girl. And so now I see shadow figures all the time. It's not a big deal anymore, but now, because I truly believe that your eyes see only what your mind is ready to comprehend. And I guess the whole time I was there, at Old South Pittsburgh, I really wasn't ready. until the end when we were leaving, and then and then there it was. So I think that was the best one. I got to meet Jan, I got to meet Deb, lifelong friends. I think that was my most fondest memory.
Well, I will say, I mean, I think that once you open yourself up to the paranormal, you're more inclined to notice the paranormal. Or I don't know, maybe the other side goes, oh, they're paying attention, and let's make ourselves known.
Yeah.
What's the spookiest location that you've ever been to?
Probably Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. I hate to go back there, but that was a big one. We were there for 5 days, 4 nights, 5 days. We slept in the hospital rooms. There was a lot going on there. I developed a bad habit when I was there. If I'm alone, I'll speak to myself out loud. I still do that. I try not to, but yeah, I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But yeah, it's got to be Old South Pittsburgh. I mean, we've done some good ones. The USS Batfish was a good one. The salt mine, even though there wasn't a whole lot going on there, was some weird stuff going on there with the radio, but that was a pretty good one. But I've never been like afraid. And anywhere we've gone, even though you hear growls and whatnot, some people think that could be demonic. It could be, but I've never felt afraid. I've never felt threatened. So I got to go with Old South Pittsburgh Hospital.
I always think it's funny. I mean, people go out there, go investigate a location, they hear a noise, and then they start to scream.
Right.
And it's like,
well, why are you there if you don't want to hear something?
Then? I mean, if you're going to be so antsy, I mean, my wife had said something to me. She goes, she'll watch like a show with me or something, and she'll say, is that the way that you act? I was like, no, I'm like, do it again.
Right.
My ultimate goal, as much as this is a fun thing for us to do and it's a nice hobby, I'm trying to understand a little bit more about what goes on with the paranormal, right? And what's causing it, and is it heaven, hell, and purgatory's right in the middle, and that's what we're talking to? I don't know.
Yeah, I was telling my fiance, I don't have a problem going and sitting in a dark room.
No?
I don't have a problem doing that.
To me, I kind of prefer it.
Yeah.
It's like you turn down all the lights, and it's dark, and it's quiet, and now your senses are like heightened.
Right.
Because you don't have to worry about visuals anymore.
Yeah.
Your senses are keen. Your ears are pinging, right? And
yes.
you're ready to hear.
Opening up.
So what's the best capture that you've ever had? Now, this can be on camera, on recorder, or visual.
I don't know if it's the best capture, but the one that will always stick in my mind is when I was in the guest investigation at the house in Gainesville. What was that house? Haunted Hill House Manor. Yeah, Hill House Manor. That was my first ever investigation. I was the guest there, and you had other people on the team then, and we were around, and we were all in a circle downstairs, and you had that block of limestone with copper wires going through it for generating electricity in a little pan of water. And one of the ladies that was on your team before, she said, "So, do you like our new equipment?" And the EVP I caught said, "Not really." And I think that will always stick with me.
You remember the knocking at the front door?
I remember the knocking at the front door.
And we went
out
there,
and there was
and
nobody there.
Nobody there.
Yeah.
It was really, really, really bizarre.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's the most disliked place that you've ever been to?
Oh, Yoakum. I mean, so Yoakum, great activity. We got some really great EVPs. Jan had some great experiences there too, but that place needs to be condemned. There was mold 3 inches thick everywhere. It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible. If they could clean it up, that'd be a great place. But
it's a great location. The first time I ever went, I was like, wow. I mean, and it's really weird because the history of Yoakum Hospital and the nurse being shot there, and then tying that in with Lavaca County Jail.
Yes.
That her husband, that
Gregory
killed her,
and Lisa, I think was her name.
Yeah.
Lisa.
and then he died there
Yep.
in the jail. And it was just so weird that we get pulled from one location and end up with her killer's location.
Right.
And no, but the mole there was, I mean, it was like carpet.
It was-
I remember grabbing my camera and pointing it at it going, this is disgusting.
It was disgusting.
But you remember the DR-60?
The DR-60 when we were in that little office, and I remember the recording said, "This hospital is deadly."
Deadly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they meant
correct.
back in the day or right now when we're in it.
Current.
Right.
I would kind of go with current.
Yeah.
Maybe back
Yeah.
in the day too.
Yeah.
So what is your thoughts on the paranormal? So your whole thought process about the paranormal.
Like, what do you mean?
Well, is it ghosts? Is it spirits? Is it a different entity? Is it angelic? Is it demonic?
Nobody knows. I don't know. My thoughts. It could be the spirit world. Maybe it's another dimension. I don't know. I think it's the spirit world, but no, I don't know that anybody will ever know. I don't know that anybody will ever know. But there's something there. Even when there's nothing there, there's something there. So there's no denying. If anyone doesn't believe in it, it's just because you haven't had an experience yet, you know? And I had experiences when I was a kid. That's why I've always been interested in it. And then I met you, you know, for being a patient, and then moving into being on the team, and it was great. It's great.
You know, there was a movie, just to get off topic, Interstellar. You remember that? And there's one scene. So
I never saw it.
you never seen
I
it?
never saw
Oh
Interstellar.
my gosh, you've got to go out and see
Okay.
Interstellar. So
Okay.
there's a scene where the beginning of the movie, it talks about there's a ghost in the bookshelf, right? Because these books are falling down. Later on in the movie, he gets sucked into a black hole, other dimension beings show him all these different layers of dimension. And come to find out, he was the ghost in the bookcase trying to catch his little daughter's attention. So
Just in a
it's
different
kind of like
dimension.
a full circle, right? The past was the future back in the past,
Right.
you know? And I remember that aha moment because my wife and I were sitting there watching it in the movie theater. And when I saw that, I was like, whoa. You know, because I've asked this question before, Spirit, is do you have the ability, because if your energy, your essence, time is not a constraint anymore,
Right.
can you go back and warn your future self? And that one EVP that I got, oh my gosh, this is like within the first year of me starting North Texas Ghost Society. And I'd ask that question, can you go back and go warn yourself about pending events?
Yeah.
And the response I got on EVP said, it's called deja vu.
Yeah.
So it makes you wonder, when we have deja vu, is that our future self? We're reliving this memory because we've already been there, and that's why we go, wow, this looks really familiar, right? It's like I've been here before. No, maybe
you have.
Maybe you have.
Right.
What place creeped you out the most? It's kind of back to, I guess, the spookiest location, but which one creeped you out the most?
I mean, Hill House was pretty creepy. Hill House Manor in Gainesville was pretty creepy. The one that we did in West Texas, I don't remember the name. You totally don't want me to mention the name. It didn't turn out well with the proprietors of that place, but that was okay.
You're talking about South Texas, the old park
Yeah.
hotel?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's down in South Texas.
Oh, okay. I thought it was west,
Yeah.
okay, south of Abilene.
Yeah. Nice building.
Great building.
Uh,
Definitely some stuff going on there.
just the proprietor just likes to talk.
Yeah.
and talk
Yeah.
and talk and talk.
Yeah.
And I may cut this part out of the video. I may leave it
Well-
in the video. I don't know.
Well,
but
well, what you can leave in is when you're at a place and you pay to investigate it, whoever is there that's in charge of the facility needs to remove themselves. They don't have to go away. They can be in another room, but they need to be quiet. They need to stop interrupting. They need to not be hovering because you're trying to conduct an investigation and I've paid for this time. I didn't pay for this time to sit there and listen to you tell me stories about your experiences. I paid for the time for my own experiences, and that just didn't happen.
the first time that we went there, it was almost too much about the history, right? But it was fine. And then it was some interruptions, and the interruptions is like, God, we're doing the EVP session and now you're back here talking, right?
Right.
So you're contaminating it. The second time that we went, I was so irritated that I deleted everything.
I know.
I was so mad. I was like, because when you're paying for an investigation, like you said, I'm paying for us to investigate. I'm not paying for you, the proprietor, to investigate your own location. You can do that for free on your time off.
Right.
For those that don't know, when we go out to locations to investigate, we're also promoting that location. Even though we're not trying to promote it, we're not being paid to promote. We have to pay to go to these places to go investigate. But when you go there and you put up a video and you got some good activity, that is promotion for that location. And after that second time, I was like, I'll be damned. I am not promoting that place.
No. And it's a shame, too, because that would have been a really good place.
You know what? And I could have had the holy grail of evidence.
Well, yeah.
But I was so frustrated. I just deleted it all. I was like, I'm not doing anything for this place. I mean, I'll never step foot in there again.
Well, one of the spirit prostitutes was, you were like, what's your name? Whatever you want it to be. That was great. I mean, an answer to a direct question.
Yeah.
And something that a prostitute might say, whatever you want it to be, baby.
I've just noticed that some of my questions are a little bit redundant.
That's okay. Just like you.
Thank you. What location did you most enjoy investigating?
God, there's been so many. You know what? I think I would go with Ripa Villa. Ripa Villa was awesome. When we were in, were we in the slave quarters where we kept seeing those like weird things going around, and you were doing the DR60 and you were telling them, don't be afraid, come and hear your own voice. And then they started talking and chattering. And I think that was probably,
The whole feel of that place
was great.
I mean, I loved the interior, the decor.
Yes.
You felt like you were stepping back in time, going out to the slave graveyard.
Yep.
Which was, to me, very sad to see the small buildings that they lived in. And there was just a rock as their headstone.
Yeah.
There was not even a proper headstone.
Not fair.
But, that's the history that it was. But the ghost box responses that I got upstairs was absolutely phenomenal, mind-blowing, because there were direct responses as we're asking questions.
Right.
And no, I'll go with that.
Yeah,
I'll
Ripa
go with-
Villa for sure. I would love to do that one again.
Yeah, that
for sure.
one was very enjoyable place. It's
Yeah.
too bad that we didn't have enough time coming
Yep.
from Old South
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
and the
but-
people that were hosting were
they were
absolutely wonderful.
great.
Absolutely
They were
wonderful.
super great, and they didn't interject themselves.
They were with
They
us
became
almost the whole
part-
time, but
If-
they didn't interject themselves. Yep.
And they became part of it whenever we invited them
Yes.
to.
Yes.
And no, that was a great location.
Yeah.
Which location do you wish that we had a chance to investigate?
What was that one that we were going to investigate? That insane asylum. Was that in Illinois?
Is that Waverly Hills?
No. Waverly Hills is Kentucky, right? No, was it Amherst or something like that? There was one that we were going to do, and then we ended up not.
Yeah, why did we not?
Because somebody had a bad feeling. No, but if you have a bad feeling about it, I wouldn't have done it either.
Yeah,
But I don't remember the name of it. I think it was Amherst, but don't get me to lying on that. I would love to do an insane asylum.
I don't know if it was that location that I just didn't, or it was the trip.
Right.
You know, when I'm 60 years old, so when I get a gut feeling about something, I kind of just follow it.
Well, you've been doing this long enough to know if something's telling you not to.
With psychic abilities, I have none. I'm not a medium. It's just if my gut tells me maybe I shouldn't,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't. And
the coolest thing though that has ever happened to me, I was at our friend's house in Alabama. Can I say her name?
sure.
Okay, I was at Jan's house, and I was in the juju room. That's where I stay. I love that bedroom. It's the greatest bedroom ever. It feels like it hugs me. It's a great room. And we had just gotten back from an investigation at I think it was like York House Inn or something in Georgia, and I had laid down to go to bed, and my knees were killing me because there were stairs all over there. So I got up to take something, Tylenol or whatever, and I laid back down, and it was on my left side. I was just about to fall asleep, and in my ear, I hear the word dishes. My hair didn't move, so there was no breath, but it was like somebody's mouth was right there, dishes. And I'm like, okay, I think you said dishes. It could have been fishes or wishes. You want to elaborate on that? And then nothing happened. And then the next day, Jan and I went to eat, and we sat down, and they brought the little plates and our glasses or whatever. And then I look up, and I see the manager talking to someone, and I see him say, nope, bring it all back. And the waiter comes rushing over and takes all the plates, and he says, I'm really sorry. I'm going to get you some different plates. We just found out that the night staff never washed the dishes. And I was like,
Wow.
Dishes. There you go.
Food poisoning.
Weird. Right. Weird.
Kept you from.
Weird. Yeah. Yep. So that was something that'll always stick with me. It's pretty cool. Disembodied voices. It's weird to have a voice here, and you're like, okay, there's nobody there. It's a weird feeling.
The Baker Hotel. That's the only time that I heard something so loud with my ears, and they got picked up on recorder, that I thought it was one of the other team members joshing with me. And I was in the spa area on the third floor, and I'm doing the normal stuff. You tell me your name, right? Blah blah blah. Can you tell me my name? And when it said it so loud, I thought for sure it was one of them.
Yeah.
Because when I heard that, Neil Bertram,
Right.
I was like, holy hell, you fuckers, right? And so I go running down through the hotel, and they're down at the other end of the hotel on the third floor.
That's a big hotel.
On the floor.
That's a big hotel. So.
Yeah.
And what did Neo Barathram come out to mean?
Well, see, it sounded Latin to me. So I reached out to this priest down in San Antonio, and I sent him the clip of what I heard, what I think it's saying, and he said Neo Barathram is Latin, and it means stir of the underworld. And I was just like, oh, well, shit.
And that's kind of like what we do. Not the underworld, but we stir up spirits, sort of.
But the thing was, I asked the question, what's my name?
And it said...
And it says stir of the underworld.
I think it basically meant...
that thinks demonic or whatever. That's not my intent. I believe in heaven. I believe in hell. I search nothing out for hell. So, but I was like, God, I don't want to be stir of the underworld.
I think it just meant you were a shit stirrer.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
It was an Amish boat.
Yeah, right. Exactly right.
But it was a couple of years later that I was watching a video, and they were talking about reverse EVPs. So sometimes you'll catch an EVP on a recorder and it sounds like gibberish, but when you reverse it, it's actually English. So I thought I would do that with that clip. And the weirdest thing about that clip was when I reversed it, instead of it saying Neo Barathram, when you reverse it, it says, "Where are you?" And then I was like, okay, what the hell? I mean, what if So when you and I are investigating and we hear a voice,
Yeah.
and we go, okay, that's ghost or spirit. What if there's another dimension that is so close to ours, right? You know, you hear about this other world theory, right?
Yeah.
Where,
Dimensions cross and
but let's
sort
say
of,
that they're so close that when you and I are talking, they hear us.
and they think we're spirits.
And they think that we're ghosts.
Right.
So when I start talking, I ask a question, what's my name? And it goes, where are you? Maybe that's somebody,
Yeah.
I don't know. it's a
I don't
little
know that
bit-
we'll ever know.
It's above my pay grade,
Yeah.
you know, but I
Maybe
still
someday we'll
enjoyed
know.
investigating, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed, I got a cool experiment coming up. I made a mention of it on the YouTube channel about this ghost box experiment coming up. I filled in Syn-D on it. I wish that you could be part of it,
Yeah.
but it will definitively, once and for all, either validate ghost box communication or totally debunk it. And if it debunks it, it debunks it. But somebody needs to really just validate this one way or another. It's either audio pareidolia or there's something there somehow, and I don't know the mechanics. Maybe it's the capacitor that is firing and discharging and recharging that is just enough energy for a voice to come across, or is simply the voice scanning through the frequencies. I don't know, but one way or another, I want to either put some validity to it, and I'm not a scientist, but I'm going to try to approach this the most scientific way that I can with an objective mind to try to prove it, that it's wrong. But then again, if I can't prove that it's wrong, then I'm proving that it's valid. That it's valid.
We need to do that room that's up in Pennsylvania somewhere, Pittsburgh or Philadelphia, that soundproof room that, well, I forget what the name of it is.
Well, there's that video, and I've posted it a couple times, Calling Earth. So it's on, what's the other thing from YouTube? Vimeo. It's on, is it Vimeo? No, that's a payment.
Well, that's Venmo.
Vimeo. Vimeo.
Vimeo.
If you look for the video, it's called Calling Earth. And it's all about communication from dead relatives to either their mother, their father, their siblings. And then there's a gentleman that has been studying EVPs for 20, 30 years. And he goes into a soundproof room. And he records EVPs in a soundproof room. So
there's no chance radio frequency could have gotten into that room.
Where's this voice coming from? I mean, it's manifesting somehow.
Well, wasn't it even Thomas Edison? There was some transcripts or manuscripts that Thomas Edison was talking about.
Yeah, he was supposed to be working on or have invented telephone to the dead.
Right.
And it never materialized. I don't know. Maybe the government's got it. Who knows? I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I'll grab some aluminum foil whenever necessary.
Yeah.
And then you've got Nikola Tesla, who was picking up voices that should not have been there.
Right.
So, you know, this has been going on for a long time. The paranormal is not just from the 1900s. It's from the 1800s, 1700s, 1600s. This has been going on for many, many years. For the Bible thumpers out there, you know, read your Bible, because it even talks about ghosts and spirits in the Bible. So I know that sometimes we'll get comments about you're not supposed to talk to the dead.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, but it's also, oh my gosh, it just escaped me. What's the sin?
Necromancy.
Necromancy. You're not supposed to speak to the dead. Maybe it's not, you're not supposed to speak to the dead to learn about the future. Maybe you're not supposed to learn so much about the other side. Maybe that's why you're not supposed to talk about or speak to the dead. I don't know. But I want to go ahead and wrap this up, but I want to tell you that you are one of my most best friends. And I care for you deeply. I will miss you
Right back at you.
enormously. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
And I'm sad at the same time.
Thank you.
Maybe we can. I can talk to Tyler and see if he's interested in venturing along.
Yeah,
a couple
he
times.
might be. He might be.
Are you going to quit the paranormal now that you're going to be a Mrs.?
I don't know. We'll see what happens. Who knows? I don't think I will actively seek out a new team, but maybe if you or, you know, the girls, you know, continue to get together once a year like we used to or something, I could tag along. I don't know. Like I said, we talked about that park that's going to be behind where I live, so I might be doing some ghost boxing back there if it's a nice sunny day and it's not too loud outside. We'll see. I don't know that it'll ever leave you. Once you've got the bug, I don't think it'll ever leave you. You know, you'll always be like, oh, who's there? Is somebody there? Like, where's my phone so I can record this? You know, kind of thing. So, I don't know. Who knows?
Any parting words?
It's been great. Thanks for everybody supporting us, and I'll miss you guys. You too, Sensei.
Miss you enormously.
Yeah, I will miss you.
Very happy for you.
Thank you very much.
Very, very happy for you.
Thank you.
And I guess this is our last time you and I together
Yep.
to look at a camera and say to keep it spooky.
Keep it spooky. Keep it spooky.
Keep it spooky.